That's good.
This is the last I have. But I gotta do 25 of them, and then I think I'm done for now.
All right, hi everybody at YouTube, and I am Michael Buckoff, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at the 7-Step System to pass the TOEFL IBT, and we are live at YouTube. So today, if you guys have any questions, you can certainly ask your questions right in the chat area next to the video. During the video today, you will see me interact with my online TOEFL students. I will be grading their practice test. I'll be answering some of their questions, and this gives you an idea of how I work with my online students. So if you're serious about improving your speaking, you want a higher writing score, generally you want to improve your academic English language abilities, I strongly suggest that you go over to my website at onlinetoeflcourse.com and join my course. I promise you, you will get exactly the same kind of feedback that you see in this particular video. Alright, so let's move on. I'm going into my email now, and I'm going to check out speaking. I want to see what some of the questions are. Okay, so I have a speaking practice test from Mohammed, and he also has a question, so I'm going to answer that right now in this video. So let's see what he's asking. Okay, I'm going to go over to my email here in just a minute. And I'm going to get the audio going. Alright, hi Mohammed, this is Michael, and I'm looking at your specific question right now, so you can take a look at what this is, kind of see what we're doing. Alright, and you guys over at YouTube, I'm going to go ahead and use the screen capture so you guys can see specifically what his question is. Okay, Mohammed, so let's see what we have. You say, "Dear sir, I have a problem combining my thoughts when I want to record speaking practice. After 20 attempts of failing, I completed this speaking practice. So could you advise me to do better and overcome this?" Instead of saying obstruct, I would say obstacle. You know what? You're overcoming it already. Think about it. You failed 20 times, and on the 21st time, you're actually able to complete the speaking practice test. Guess what's going to happen as you keep doing this? Maybe tomorrow, the next day, maybe you only fail for 15 times before you complete it. Maybe a month from now, you only fail 10 times before completing it. Eventually, as you practice, you'll develop better control, Mohammed, over your language use, including both your grammar and your vocabulary, and you will get better. So don't look at the negative side too much. I feel that you are improving, even though you're still not natural and fluent with your English. You're definitely getting better. Now, if you want some advice on how you can do better, I will give you some suggestions. First of all, go to the vocabulary part of my course. If you can really master the vocabulary words in lesson number 3, lesson number 4, 5, and 6, that's a great start. So really work on learning those words, because as you improve your vocabulary, Mohammed, you'll have a much better, I think, range of ideas when you're speaking, and you'll be less likely to be limited because of vocabulary problems. Right? So that's one bit of advice.
You got mail.
So secondly, I recommend that you spend time in the grammar part of my course. I think that'll also be good for you, because you need to become a little more natural at combining sentences, right? And then using transition words and using adjective clauses and all those kinds of things. So as you make the improvements in your vocabulary and in the grammar sections of my course, and as you keep doing your speaking practice, you will become more natural, more fluent with your academic English language speaking abilities. All right, remember, patience. Patience is a virtue, Mohammed. So be patient, keep working, follow my plan. You will continue to develop, I think, better control over these things. So, in addition, I'm going to say, in addition to following these suggestions, Mohammed, another thing you can do is really concentrate on getting more exposure, I think, into your brain. That means maybe watching movies on a day-to-day basis. That would be very, very good practice for you. Listening to the radio, reading magazines, reading newspapers, reading books. And as you increase your exposure in those areas, you will also continue to improve your speaking ability. So the more English you're getting into the brain, the better it is going to be for you. All right? Does that make sense? Think about that. Okay? So let's keep going, and let's take a look at your specific practice test that you have now posted for me to listen to. All right? So I think this is independent speaking practice test number 2. Let's see what we have here. Okay, it doesn't seem to want to download correctly here, so give me a quick second here. I'm going to go into Firefox, see if Firefox works better, that browser. Okay, here we go. I'm going into my email right now. Okay, let's go over to the speaking. I'm into my Firefox browser. I'm looking at your email one more time. I apologize. So I'm downloading it. Okay, this seems to be working better. Sometimes with the Google browser, I don't know why, it doesn't, when I download your speaking, I can't find the file.
English language.
Okay, so let's take a look here.
My graduation from college is the most important event I have. It had impacted me in 2 ways. First
Okay, so it impacted you 2
of
ways.
all, I realized that I am now a new person, an independent person from my family and other people.
Okay.
So I have now the ability to create my own life. Secondly, I recognize that I have new skills. For example,
I recognize that I have what? New skills? Hold on.
I recognize that I have new skills.
You wouldn't say I recognize that I have a new skills, but just say I recognize that I have new skills.
For example, being able to distinguish between different electrical components.
Okay, different what?
Be able to distinguish between different electrical components.
Different educational components, maybe?
And mastering an intermediate level of English language. And these 2 skills are the
So I think you're having some slight parallel structure problems, but the big story here, Mohammed, so you're working on your intonation, but when you're speaking, you sound like you're at a funeral. You sound very melancholy. You have to get that change. You got to vary your intonation more. This is important. Put a smile in your face, right? Put some emotion in there. So you're kind of speaking like this. The most important event of my life is when I graduated from college. It impacted me in 2 ways. First of all, I learned to be more independent. I was able to make my own money. And second of all, I was able to. So you're speaking in that monotone. It is killing your intelligibility. It's distracting. It's hard to focus on what you're saying. So you really need to deal with that. But this is something you're already working on. Now, I know, and you know, you can vary your tone because you have done it in some of the pronunciation exercises. No doubt, you have. Admit it. You've done it. You have done this. So you know how to vary your tone, but when you're doing the speaking, you're forgetting what you're learning. So what did you learn? You learned that when you're speaking, you want to pause after maybe 4 or 5 stressed words, and at the end of that thought group, your tone should be inflected slightly. Then you have another 4 or 5 stressed words. If it's not the end of the thought, or not the end of the sentence, the tone goes up again. Once you get to the end of the sentence, that's when your tone drops. You see what I'm saying? So you might say this: I went to the store today to buy some bread. Right? So you have to make sure you're not saying everything equally. How do you solve this problem? So first of all, I recommend go to pronunciation lessons 36 through 40, all of which deal with intonation patterns of American English. That's a good start. Keep focusing in there. I know that you already have, but you can also take a look at my lessons on thought groups and blending. I think that will also be important. And that is, I think, pronunciation lessons 41 through 44.
Have when I was in high school. In conclusion, if I
So if you said in conclusion, instead of saying in conclusion, say in conclusion, remember that when you stress that stressed syllable, there's 4 characteristics. In conclusion, so you make the stressed syllable clearer, louder, longer, and most importantly, higher pitched. That's what you're not doing. So in conclusion, right? So in that stressed syllable, you need to adjust that pitch. If you can adjust that pitch in the stressed syllable with the word, that will have an impact on the overall sentence because you have many multisyllabic words when you speak, and you want to make sure you're putting the right stress and the right tone on those stressed syllables. That's also something that can help you with your intonation. Now, all of these things I'm saying are complicated. You want to do it the easy way? Listen to a lot of music. Put on some headphones, listen to the music, practice singing with the speaker. And then you get used to the differences in the intonation of American English. And you practice trying to actually recreate what those patterns are. You practice them yourself, and it becomes more natural. So that would be a recommendation.
didn't have this event in my life, none of these would happen.
How about this? None of these things would have happened, not would happen. So you're talking about something at the end of your response. It's called a past impossible condition. So I think the past perfect tense works better. So if not for my graduation, none of these things would have happened. That's probably how I would say that. All right, Mohammed? So now the question is, what is your score? What is your score on this particular one, right? So I'm going to go into the rubrics and see if I can figure out where you are right now. Okay, so delivery is the story. A lot of problems with your intonation. That's the biggest area you can work on, right? Another one is your language use. You had one slight problem at the end of your response with that. Remember, using that, would I recommend the past perfect tense? You're trying to talk about a past impossible situation. So I revised what you said. Instead of would happen, none of these things would have happened, right? So I think topic development is very strong. You actually had a good organization. You answered the question. You even had some supporting details. So you're definitely going in the right direction. But because of the delivery issue, right, that's what's keeping your score below 26. So I'm going to put you at about 2.83 out of 4, 22 points out of 30 on this practice test. Okay, now you guys at YouTube, those are my comments for Mohammed. So you guys see, as you heard his response, there are specific things he needs to do to get better, and I gave him suggestions of certain lessons in my online TOEFL course that will address those problems. And Mohammed, that's the issue here, the tone, the intonation is something that he is working on, and I'm trying my best to help him improve in that area. That's part of my goal as his online TOEFL course teacher, as his TOEFL IBT speaking specialist. I'm trying to help him with that specific area. And now I'm going to send him an email. So all the comments you guys just heard at YouTube, I will now send to him by email. Okay, here we go. Okay, I'm emailing him. Okay, I'm going to double check over at the live dashboard here. Let's see what's going on over here. And I apologize, I cannot get to everybody's questions at the same time. The answer here is Titilia Farabi. So your question is very simple. And how are you doing today? Nice to meet you. So you say, are the online courses free? The answer is no. Think about it. If you go to a university and you're getting an MBA degree, is that going to be free? No. So none of my courses are free. They actually cost money, not a lot of money. If you're on a tight budget, you'll love my courses, but nothing is free in my course because I have a teaching assistant. I have to pay him. I have operating costs on my website. So if I could offer it for free, I would, but I certainly cannot do that. I would lose a lot of money every month if I offered it for free. So the main cost is simple. So Titilia, if you want to join my online course, there are not a lot of hidden fees. In fact, it will cost $45 a month to become one of my students. You can use my course as long as you need it. If you want speaking and writing practice for 1 month, you can cancel your subscription at PayPal immediately. If you want to use my course for more than 1 month, do nothing. PayPal will automatically bill you for that second month. So it's about $45 for each month that you use my course. And think about it. If you go to a university and you're studying English as a second language and specifically TOEFL preparation, how much does it cost? It will cost you probably about $3,000 over a 10 to 12 week period. So obviously you can save enormous, absolutely incredible amounts of money if you use my course as opposed to an intensive English program. And think about it. If you go to an intensive English program, what are the odds of getting a TOEFL IBT speaking specialist who has over 22 years of experience, who has a YouTube channel with millions and millions of views, who has websites all over the internet with millions and millions of views, who has scored thousands and thousands of speaking and writing practice tests? It'll be tough for you to find somebody with my kind of experience no matter where you go. Think about that. All right, so anyway, Titilia, thank you for your question. I hope I've given you some information there. And now it's time to move on. I'm going to my next speaking from one of my students. Okay, the next student is, it looks like Raphael Serrano. So his speaking practice is independent speaking task. It says here, some people think that family members are the most important influence on young adults. Others believe that friends are the most important influence. Which do you agree with? Okay, so let me download what his response is. Okay, here we go.
I agree with people who think that friends are the most influential on young adults. First, because young adults usually spend more time with their friends. For example, I can consider a young adult and I live alone, so I do not spend too much time with my parents anymore. On the other hand, I live with a friend, and when I have a group of friends with whom I spend the majority of the days during the week, and thus, in my opinion, there are more chances to adopt certain of their customs and also certain features of the way of think. I agree with people who think
Okay,
that
so I want to go ahead and listen to this one more time. Okay, Raphael, I'm going to listen to your independent speaking task. I'll break it up into different parts. So let's listen to the introduction first.
I agree with people who think that friends are the most influential on young adults. First, because
Instead of saying first because, I would say first, friends are an important influence on young adults because.
young adults usually spend more time with their friends. For example, I can consider a young adult and I live alone, so I do not spend too much time with my parents anymore. On the other hand,
Now, Evelyn and I know, who is Evelyn? Is this your significant other? Is this your girlfriend? Is this your wife? So you're saying that you're not spending a lot of time with your parents anymore because you're living with a friend or a partner, or you're in a relationship, right? And at that point, you're focused a lot more on your friends, not on your parents, right?
I live with a friend, and when I have a group of friends with whom I spend the majority of the days during the week, and that
With whom I spend. Wow, very formal. It's correct grammar that's showing some control. You're using an adjective clause there, and you're putting the preposition before the relative clause pronoun. It's a little too informal, to be honest, for this kind of speaking, but you're not going to lose any points for doing it. And it shows you have very good control of your language use. So I like that use of grammar, Raphael.
that's my opinion. There are more chances to adopt certain of their customs and also certain features of the way of think.
Yeah, I don't know, Raphael. I think I want you to. I feel like you're going backwards a little bit here, but I would prefer with this kind of task, you have a little bit more focused introduction. So you say, well, family members, you should say friends, not family members, have the most important influence on young adults because state reason A, then state reason B. Then say, first of all, friends have a big influence on young adults because, and then you state reason A. Then you give an example or two to support that. Say, second of all, friends also are an important influence on young adults because, and then state reason B. And then give maybe one or two examples there. And I think you are in pretty good shape there. Right? So I'd like you to improve a little bit with your topic development. So if I'm looking at the IBT rubrics here, let's take a look at what it looks like. Give me a quick second here. So I'm looking at the rubrics to give you a score here. So I think overall you have, I think your delivery is strong. You're pronouncing most of your words correctly. You're speaking pretty fluently, so not too much or too many difficulties there. Maybe some minor pauses and hesitations, but nothing big. Language use, fairly good control there. Topic development, I think you could improve the organization. I want you to speak more coherently. Try to make connections between what's happening in your response to the actual speaking task. Now, my advice for you is, I'd like you to take a look at maybe, and hold on a minute, I gotta shut the door here. Okay, I'm back here. So I'd like you to go to speaking lesson number 2 and speaking lesson number 7 and really focus on this next response. I want to try to make it super coherently organized. That's going to be really, really good for you. All right, so I think it's still a good response, but you might have difficulty getting 26 on it. I'm going to put you at about 3.0 out of 4, 23 points out of 30 on this particular practice test. All right? And those are my comments for Raphael. I'm going to go ahead and send him the comments that you guys just heard at YouTube. So Raphael speaking for January 28th. All right, so let's keep going here. I'm going to send him a quick message and move on. And give me a quick second. I'm going to go back to okay, let's see what we have here. I'm going to go ahead. Yeah, I'll answer the question. William, Ribeiro, and Titilia. Yeah, both of you guys. Shrikant just answered my question. That everything at YouTube is free. However, if you want to join my online course, if you want to complete speaking and writing practice tests, if you want access to all of my lessons in the 7-step system to pass a TOEFL IBT, you do have to pay some money to get access to that. Okay, let's keep going here. So, I'm going to go ahead and send a quick message to the student that I just talked to here. And I will put, if you guys want to learn more about my online course, let me give you a link. I'm going to give you a link you can go to here. Hold on a minute. I'll put it right here. I'll give you a website. Right there, we got it. So you can go to onlinetoeflcourse.com if you want to learn more about my course. And what I'm doing at YouTube is a lot of people do not know about my online TOEFL course, right? So when I do my YouTube videos, it's a way of indirectly advertising for my course. Because if I use Google for advertising, it costs me thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. If I spend all that money in advertising, what do you think is going to happen to the price of my course? It's going to go up. I'd have to charge a lot more money, but because I don't really do any advertising, I just use YouTube pretty much, I can keep the price of my course relatively cheap. Okay, the next student. This will be fun. We have a student who is doing some TOEIC speaking practice. You guys are going to like this one. And she has, I think she took the IELTS exam and she got 8.0 out of 0. She also got a score of 8 on the speaking, which puts her above 110. I think the equivalent score in the TOEFL IBT, with scores above 26 on the speaking. And once you listen to her speaking, you will find out very quickly why she has such good English skills. Remember, as you improve your speaking skills, many things are going to happen. It means if you speak fluently and you're not limited by either grammar or vocabulary, your writing's going to be much better. You'll do better in reading and listening, and all kinds of good things are going to happen. So work hard to improve your speaking abilities. Okay, here we go.
If you ask me, I'd rather change job.
Okay, now let me go ahead and talk to her. Yeah, hi there, Comatop, and this is Michael, and how are you doing today? And I'm going to listen to your TOEIC response. So you're practicing for the test of English for international communication. The question is, do you prefer to change jobs and companies often than to stay with the same job and company all of their lives, or all of your life or something? So the grammar is very strange on this one, to be honest with you. So I need to evaluate it in terms of pronunciation, intonation, stress, grammar, vocabulary, cohesion, relevance of content, completeness of content. And that is what I'm going to do. So let's hear how you answered this question.
If you ask me, I'd rather change jobs and companies often than work for the same company all my life.
Okay.
First of all, if we stay in one job our whole life, how can we know what we are really passionate about? There's a saying that nothing ventured, nothing gained.
Wow, where did you get that from? Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Wow, good quote, and it is exactly relevant to what you're trying to say here. So that was a brilliant, I think, quote there to help support your
When
idea.
we finally find a job we are truly passionate about, I believe we are going to work hard and bring more to our role.
Good. I like how you're consistent. You're using we. You're including the audience as part of your response, right? And that's a better choice than using you. So you're consistent, I think, with your pronoun use. You're either first or you're the first person singular or plural point of view. That works very well.
Secondly, I think changing jobs and organizations is very beneficial for us because we can gain a wide range of business skills.
I like that. So you said, I think changing jobs is beneficial. So you're restating, I think, part of the speaking task. That was a good strategy, coma top. So you're keeping everything very focused. All right, let's keep going.
To illustrate my point, from last spring,
No, pronounce that, say, to illustrate my point. To illustrate my point.
I started working as a full-time lecturer at a Japanese university, which has been my dream job since when I was a child. I used to work as a marketing.
Okay, since, let me listen to what, I got to check your language.
Last spring, I started working as a full-time lecturer at a Japanese university, which has been my dream job since when I was a child.
Since, I wouldn't say since when I was a child, just say since I was a child, right? You don't have to use since and then when. So just say since I was a child. What if I said this? Since I was a child, I have always loved watching movies.
I work as a marketing communication specialist, translator, interpreter, and study abroad and exchange officer, among others. If I hadn't had such work experiences.
Well, if I hadn't had, you're using the past perfect to talk about a past impossible situation. So very good control of your grammar.
I wouldn't be a university teacher. In short, working for different organizations gives us an opportunity to make us realize what we actually want to do and help us to acquire skills necessary to.
So it helps us to acquire. So you had a little bit of trouble pronouncing that word. Helps us to acquire.
Gain necessary to get our dream job. So I prefer to change jobs and companies often than to stay with the same job and company all of our lives.
And I think at the very end there, let's go back.
So I prefer to change.
You said I prefer, so not all of our lives, all of my life. I would at the very end because you said I, then use my. And that's going to be a little more consistent at the end there. All right, so what can I say here? I can say, wow, good, very nice. I like it. I think overall you're doing a very good job with your pronunciation. I didn't notice any major problems. You had good control of grammar, vocabulary. It was very connected, so you had good cohesion. And what you said was relevant, I think, to the speaking task. And you had some details in there to help complete, I think, your response. So overall, coma top, that was a very good response on your part. How about that? You guys at YouTube, if you can speak like that, what you just heard, this is how you get 26 points or higher on the speaking. Just like that. You got to have a lot of details, a lot of examples. You have to make sure things are organized, right? And it should be very easy to understand what you're saying. If you can do that, you will be able to score higher than 26 on the speaking. Now this student, she doesn't really care about the TOEFL exam. She's practicing more for the TOEIC, the test of English for international communication, right? So that's what I'm helping her with. So, and what am I saying? I'm saying if you join my course, you can do any kind of speaking you want. And keep in mind, that a lot of people who use my online TOEFL course, they don't even care about the TOEFL. They just want to improve their speaking or their writing or their grammar or whatever. And that's what my course will do. It will help you improve your English abilities, whether you need it for the TOEFL, whether you need it for your job, whether you need it for personal type interaction with native speakers. It doesn't matter. My online course will help you in all of those areas. All right, let me go ahead and send her a quick message and we will move on. I'm going to go to the next one here. I'm going to send her a quick message. Then we keep going. Where are we at now? Let's see. What's going on, everybody? David. Wow. McMaherbur, William, Shrikant, Titilia. Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching my live stream today. There's nothing that's very exciting here. I am simply grading practice tests. I'm grading speaking practice tests from students in my online TOEFL course. And why am I doing it here? A lot of people don't know about my online TOEFL course. So if you're watching this, now you know. You now know I have an online TOEFL course and I help students improve their speaking, their writing, and all the other areas important to helping them improve their academic English language abilities. Okay, where are we at? Okay, I'm going to the next one here. Okay, so we're done here. Okay, the next one is from Khaled. Now, you guys at YouTube, I want you to pay attention to his tone. I love Khaled's tone. In fact, I think once he solves all of his problems with English, I think he would be a great, what I call a radio talk show host. He could be maybe a newscaster. He's got a very good voice. I love the tone of this next speaker here. So let's go ahead and download it. And he's doing integrated speaking practice test number 15. So let's listen to his response.
The male student says that his biology class is going terribly.
Okay, so let's listen to this. Okay, so let's see how he's doing here. Right here. Try it again. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and listen to it right now. Let's see how he did. So I think in this case he's doing what's called listening, speaking, casual.
The male student says that his biology class is going terribly, and the female student says that student's performance and his test depend on his study plan, and she says that he has to work harder and smarter. And then she starts to explain the idea of studying smarter and...
Now wait a minute, I got to talk to him. I need to get the recording going for Khaled here. Hold on. Yeah, hi there, Khaled. This is Michael. I'm the founder, owner, and the materials writer for your online TOEFL course, and thank you for completing integrated speaking practice test number 15. So let's see how you answered this question.
The male student says that his biology class is going terribly, and the female student says that students perform...
Now let's go back. I'm going to give you some tips on the introduction here one more time.
The male student says that his biology class is going terribly.
I would just say in the listening passage, two students discuss a problem regarding the man's performance in his biology class. You need a little bit of an introduction first, right? Give the introduction, kind of give us a purpose of why you're talking about these things, then get to the more specific points. That would be my first comment.
And the female student says that student's performance in his test depend on his study plan,
Okay.
and she says that he has to work harder and smarter.
Okay.
And then she starts to explain the idea of studying smarter and what she did for this class last semester, and she encouraged him to do the same. First, she took
What you did, which is what she did. I would say which is what she did.
a study group and made note cards, which she keep on reviewing for 2 weeks.
Okay.
Second, she attended a study group led by a teaching assistant for our biology class. And finally, she went to her professor's office and she showed him her notes and asked him whether she needed to add some more materials, and he surprisingly gave her some good tips.
Man, the tone. You got the $1 million intonation. My, oh my. Wow, I can listen to you all day long. No kidding. Wow, I love that. I love your intonation. So, let's go over to the rubrics here. So, I want to see how you did. I'm going to go ahead and give you a score here, so give me a second. Yeah, no doubt. You are in the 3 range, maybe 4 range here. Let's take a look at it here. Okay, so 4, you've answered the question. It is very easy to understand what you are saying. You speak with sustained, coherent speech, and you do all the following. Wow. Do you do this? You speak clearly with a fluid expression of ideas, with minor pauses and difficulties with pronunciation or intonation. Yes, you do this. You use effective grammar vocabulary with natural sounding expressions and structures. You have good control of basic and complex grammar, although you have minor systematic errors which do not affect the meaning. Yes, you do this. Exactly. Man, your response does not include too many awkward pauses and is sufficient to the task. You have a well-developed and organized response that is easy. The answer is yes, yes, a little bit of no. So the no means I gave you a suggestion in the beginning, I think, how you can organize the beginning a little bit better than what you did. But other than that, you have a very, very good organization. You explain the position, the man's problem. You explain what the woman's solution was. So overall, I think this is a good response. So I have no problem here. I'm going to put you at least 3.3 or higher. I think minimum 26 out of 30 on this. I think it's very possible you could get a score of 4 on this task. No kidding. So what you did here, this was absolutely, perfect. I like it. So if you can do this again and again and again, and then when you take the TOEFL exam, you want to approach it from a similar standpoint, you did a very good job with this. Your speaking is very strong. You've always had good tone since the first time I listened to you, but you're doing a little bit better in terms of organizing your responses, and you're not pausing, or you don't have those hesitations as much as you used to. So keep up the good work there. All right, so good job, Khalid. How about that at YouTube? You guys hear that one? Wow. You've gotten at least 2. You've heard at least 2 speaking practice tests that I'm very comfortable scoring over 26. You heard both of them today in this live stream at YouTube. Now I'm going to go ahead and send him these comments that you guys just heard. Okay, so let me go ahead and do that. So integrated speaking, send that over there. There we go. Okay, I'm sending him his email right now. That's it. And we got David Gomez in here. Wow, how are you doing, buddy? We got all kinds of people here. So I will tell you guys again, my online course will not bust your budget. It is simply $45 a month. You use my course as much as you need it, and guess what? You can complete speaking practice tests on a daily basis. But you cannot send me more than one speaking practice test every 24 hours. Now that means if you go over to, if you miss a week and don't do any speaking practice during that week, on the next day, you can still only send one. That's my basic rule. You can also send me one writing practice test on a day-to-day basis. All right, so William, how can you join my course? You can go over to onlinetoeflcourse.com, click join. You create a PayPal account, make your payment, and then I will send you your enrollment or your username and your password so that you can enroll in my online TOEFL course. I think we're good there. Okay, let me go ahead. I think I have everything I need to do today. Let me go back and see if I have any more speaking to grade. Yesterday, you guys aren't going to believe it. No, you guys should go to my YouTube from Thursday. Man, it was, you're not going to believe this. This is, I don't know if it's the longest, but it's got to be one of the longest TOEFL YouTube videos ever done. It was 2 hours and 54 minutes. So if you check out my live stream from last Thursday, I graded, I think, 21 speaking practice tests on that day, and I actually answered questions. Think about that for a minute. Okay, I think we're okay there. Let me go back to my email, see if there's anything else I need to look at. Okay, somebody needs writing. Okay, I think we're pretty good here. Wow, I just had somebody join my online TOEFL course over the last 2 minutes. Wow. Okay, this is it. You guys at YouTube, I think I'm done for today. Thank you for watching. And I hope you guys have gotten some... David Gomez, wait a minute. David Gomez says, any thoughts on speaking templates? Yes. Don't use them. Don't. Don't use speaking templates on the TOEFL IBT exam. Why? The TOEFL IBT instructors, if they feel that you've used a template, if they've heard it many times before, they're instructed to give you a score of 0 on the speaking section. So I would not use templates. The other problem with templates is it's not spontaneous, natural sounding English. It's something that you've memorized. So I would not use templates. And remember that speaking templates, what if you got this? Think about this question. If I will put it in here, compare to artists. Compare to artists was a independent speaking task that one of my students was asked about 6 months ago, and how do you do a template on that? Right? So the TOEFL likes to give a lot of different types of speaking tasks, especially in the independent ones. That way you're not memorizing a template when you do it. So my thoughts on speaking templates is I would concentrate more on improving your English, your vocabulary, and your grammar, and not memorizing a certain way to begin your independent and integrated speaking task. To me, I would not do that. So those are my thoughts on that. All right? And you're welcome, William. Have a good day. Everybody, have a good day at YouTube, and I will end my presentation right now.